That's a very interesting question, and at a lot of Gartner events and customer workshops that we have been doing, we have been talking about HCI in the broader hybrid cloud context. So HCI is one of the building blocks for a lot of organizations, including banks, to build their hybrid cloud strategy. Now, here is how we see HCI. I mean, globally, when you look at that, HCI market is expected to grow by 30+% CAGR, and that growth is driven by segments such as banks, manufacturing, some of the retailers. I mean, a lot of customers from various verticals. Banks particularly, I see them doing two things. Number one, using HCI to consolidate their infrastructure, especially from a virtualization perspective. Second, many of the banks have huge VDI infrastructure, virtual desktop infrastructure. So what really happens is they are going for consolidation as well as virtual desktop infrastructure. This is happening as we speak within India and in fact across the globe as well. Now, this is the current status, but when we think of the future of HCI, I expect banks to take HCI to the next level of adoption, which is trying to leverage it for some of their general purpose workloads. The workloads which are not a good candidate to move on public cloud as of now, but they would like to keep it on premise. In those situations, HCI is going to become one of the enabling building blocks. And by the way, basis the customer experiences that we have so far, we have seen two direct benefits of HCI. One being the cost advantage, the TCO story, and the second one, the speed, the performance, and the faster time to market without compromising on the safety and the security of the data. So I think in that context, HCI becomes a great foundation for banks while they try to optimize their on-premise infrastructure. Well, I mean, scalability is an area where HCI providers have been working on for the last few years. It has come a long way from where it started off, but still, HCI scalability is work in progress, especially when we think of some of the databases, some of the mission critical environment. There is a lot of research and development work going on this. We have seen certain initial proof points for HCI supporting highly scalable databases, but there's a long way to go. So the Gartner recommendation is that you work on the peripheral workloads and general purpose workloads first before trying to put it on on an environment where you need high scalability, especially situations such as databases or other similar environments. Yeah, and security is one of the pressing concerns that we hear from everybody, including banks, when they think of their hybrid cloud strategy. And here is how, at a high level, we think of considering security approach. Number one, your on-premise infrastructure should be a lot more protected. We recommend banks to invest into latest security architectures to really foolproof their infrastructure. And in that case, we have seen HCI to be a great alternative, while of course the traditional 3T architecture has also evolved a lot. So a continued focus on this from a security aspect definitely does a lot of good. The second part that banks need to focus on is doing an assessment of their public cloud providers. At Gartner, we believe that public cloud providers are safer than on-premise data center. And especially with that premise, when banks are evaluating public cloud, they should look at the security certifications that the particular cloud service company has gone through. There are global audit companies that provide report and status on how much secure a particular cloud service provider is. Finally, we also see cloud service brokers in the marketplace who work on behalf of the customer, and they make sure that the customer data in a cloud services company is protected as per the guidelines that a customer wants. Of course, that means additional effort and additional investment, but there are these various layers that a bank can go through to make sure that the information that they have is protected. The way I look at this, IT leaders and CIOs working in a bank need to create a digital ready infrastructure, and that could be done in basically 2-3 ways. Number one, you focus on optimizing your on-premise infrastructure, and that is where I believe leveraging a hyper-converged infrastructure becomes a great alternative from a cost and performance perspective. Second, think of how you can start expanding into public cloud. If you are experimenting with one application, one cloud provider, move to the next one, and don't be worried about the fact that if any other bank in India or internationally have not done that. Somewhere we need to move that progress, make that progress. So from one cloud to the multiple cloud should be the second part of the strategy. And third would be, as you do both, you need to make sure that your security and risk compliance is as per the latest architectures and tools which are available. So these could be the 3 things to be done by a CIO of a bank.